You should be live now.
Meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody to Commissioners meeting March 14th, 2023. And call for an approval of the agenda. So moved. Second. Roll call vote.
Who? Okay. And who was the second on that? NC? Commissioner NC?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey?
Yes.
Chairman Urbina?
Yes. Any upcoming commissioner absences to be made aware of?
I think just got the calendar right now. Out of town, yeah, I'm gone on April 11th, so I'll be unavailable. Also, if we got that, if need be, if we need to, I can bring my iPad remotely ahead. Just let me know.
Thank you. Any communications?
There is one thank you letter in your board packets this evening.
Thank you, Connie. Seek a motion to approve the minutes of the February 28th meeting. So moved. Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner NC?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey?
Yes.
Chairman Urbina?
Yes. Voucher approvals.
We approved accounts payable 198 through 199,021, totaling $277,369.48 as outlined in the agenda.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner NC?
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson?
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey?
Yes.
Chairman Urbina?
Yes. Is there a report from the local?
Contacted President Flick today and he does not have any.
Chief. And now it's time for a chief's report.
Right, Myers got start us off for us.
Yeah, good afternoon. Just wanted to update you on a few things. This past Saturday, we supported Tacoma Fire with their Tacoma Fire Memorial. We backfilled some of the stations with one engine company and one medic unit. And then we also just received today communication from Chief Green thanking us for that effort. Greatly appreciate it. So we're grateful for us being able to support Tacoma Fire with their time of need. So thank you for that. And also too, just an update, just want to say thank you to Police Chief Kelly Busey. On March 1st, he came out and spoke to our officer group about the changes of use support policy. How does our police and law enforcement interact when we go on calls with them? So it was a very informative session for our folks and very appreciative with Chief Busey doing that communication and that training for us. Then just a couple other training items that we have. Last week, Tacoma Fire and New York Fire hosted an instructor one class. And so all these meeting rooms were filled up with New York Fire and Tacoma Fire personnel. And so great success joint operation between our two agencies. And then also too, today and tomorrow, just another training update. We are hosting West Pierce Recruit Academy with forcible entry down on our training ground. So just some activity that we're doing here in operations and training. So, and report unless there's any questions.
Let's see. Speaking of Chief Busey, this Thursday I've been invited Gig Harbor Fire versus Gig Harbor PD in Pull for a Soldier. So Chief Busey and I go head to head first, and then we have 5-member teams from Gig Harbor Fire and Gig Harbor Police. It's kind of a no-lose situation for us because if they beat us, police officers, they should better be able to shoot a gun, right? And but we'll be bringing our championship trophy with us to the event, and hopefully we'll be taking it home again after Thursday. So that's Thursday night. We're gonna have some fun with the Harbor PD Thursday night.
The Sportsman's Club.
Yep, at 5 o'clock, 5:30 actually.
You're doing ski.
We're doing track.
Are you You do trap?
Yep.
I understand. We don't practice trap.
Oh, we mentioned all answers already. Yeah, but you know, if we had a post poll competition, I would expect we would win, which we've done. But we'll see. We've made a decision. I've been reporting to you about our IT consortium and our evaluation. We've made a decision to bring IT back in-house. I've informed the IT consortium. We are starting the process of looking for an IT, I don't know what to call it. We don't have a title yet, but we're working on that. And we'll be spending this year unwinding and bringing IT back in the house by the end of the year. So that decision is made, and we'll be recruiting an IT director. As of today or tomorrow, we'll be putting in for a SAFER grant. We reported that last week or 2 weeks ago. And Chief Oldenburg and the admin division has been working hard to write that. And we're, I think today or tomorrow, we're going to apply for six people. Just an update on GEMT. I was again at the fire chief's legislative meeting today, and there was a report, and there's probably going to be an estimated about 30% reduction in our GEMT revenue. That'll be starting this year, probably into mostly next year. So we're planning for that, and there's nothing that can be done. It's just the way it is. The IAFF and the fire chiefs are working on it, but it's just how the people on scene are calculated. We calculated everybody on scene, the engine and the medic unit. We're probably oversimplifying it, is that you can only use the medics. So that'll reduce our GEMT income by about 30%. We'll prepare for it, plan for it next year. We're in the middle of WSRB rating. I can't remember if we had reported that. Chief Black was working on it today. I got an update, but my hope is that as we go through this process and with the levy, that we'll be able to show a nexus in a reduction in rating, but we'll see how it looks. Hopefully, will we be able to get that before then? Do you know?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
Hopefully by Monday.
Oh, by Monday. Oh, wow. Great. Good job. We just advertised for our driver operator position. As you know, we negotiated that with a contract that starts January of next year. So we're going through testing process as Chief Meyer's been leading this. We just put the announcement out last week and started the process for driver operator. I'll be presenting at the Gig Harbor City Council on April 10th. Just an update of where we're at. I'll probably address the levy while I'm there. When it comes to the levy, we're working the Strategies 360 on our key messages and creating our web page and how we're going to communicate to our public. March 28th will be the first draft resolution that we'll bring to you. We have it at the lawyer is reviewing it right now. So I'll have it ready for the March 28th meeting for the first draft so that you can look at it, take input from the community. You'll have April 11th for the second draft. Again, more input from the community. April 12th, we'll advertise the for and against committee. April 25th will be the vote on the resolution. And then also the for and against committee. And then we have by May 12th, the file deadline for our August 1 election. So we're moving forward. That's all I have for reports right now. Yes, sir.
On the driver operator position, would that be, we're going to have 5 positions out. Is that one per occupied per full-time house?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll be doing a test. We'll do a skills test and a written test and an oral interview and also a peer review. And that score will come out. We'll have a ranking and work from there. Yeah. So there'll be one per firehouse.
Any questions? Any standing committee report? I had nothing for a chairman's report, so Finance report.
Go ahead and put it up on the screen for those that are watching. It is page 1 of tonight's packet.
Hey, Crystal, you have to speak louder so the microphone will pick you up.
Okay, so this is the January 2023 financial report. This is the first edition for this budget. It is on page 26 of the packet. The first section of operating revenues, you'll see our current month of actuals with our adopted budget. You'll notice on the highlight section, everything is expected. Pretty typical for January. The next section is operating expenses. This is a new layout compared to 2022. It shows the budget and actuals comparative to the expense category. So salaries, benefits, supplies, services. The one area of note from a percentage perspective, you'll see capital improvements looks really high from a budget perspective. We did approve, the commissioners approved a budget amendment last month for a couple of carryover items that were in progress at the end of 2022. The third table is the same financial information, but organized by our organizational structure. So the legislative, finance, operations, logistics. So that is rolled up. That same item for budget amendment under the capital fund area that was approved as a budget amendment for 2023. Before I move in, those were all the items for the operating fund for January. I'll just pause here if you guys have any questions about the operating fund before moving into the capital side. Okay. So on the capital side, I just want to back up just a little bit here. The capital fund is new for 2023 for from a budget perspective. We did adopt an annual budget for our capital fund. That is the first year of a 3-year bond. So we did a $50 million bond sale at the end of last year. That is for a period of 3 years. The capital section here has $9.6 billion. That is for 2023 only. And then you'll see the bulk of the bond spending that will occur into 2024 into 2025. And then moving into the bond section, you'll see it is split out by the specific categories. We have project management, training campus, and then the applicable stations. So you'll see we do have a little bit of spend in January. This is all coming directly out of our capital fund, which does have a budget. Before I move to the next section, does anyone have questions about the capital? This is the new section for the management.
Yes, Commissioner Sudich and I had some discussions about this and I had to go back to Crystal because I even forgot. So what we've done is for this year, we have a budget and we've got it broken out for project management, like Crystal said, training station 57, 53, and 51. So those are budgets, and what we have put the same parameters around our normal levy budget that we have around this budget, meaning the spending authorities are the same. So if there's, I think we had some a few weeks ago, right? Even though it didn't meet the threshold, I wanted to inform you about it anyway. So we are authorized to spend within those budgets. And then next year, we'll bring you another one that'll have training, and training will obviously be a lot bigger for next year. And 53 and 57 and 51 will be designed. So we will continue building that budget again next year. And we're going to use the same operating guidelines that we have for the levy within the budget or within the bond budget. So I know you and I had talked about that, and I was wrong on some of the answers. So I wanted Crystal to bring this up and to talk about it, and then we'll bring you a budget for next year for the bond that you guys will approve per project.
I have a question. And I'll use the training campus just as an example. Next year, the budget will be whatever, 10, 15 million dollars, whatever it's gonna be. Is it just gonna be a training campus? Don't hold me to the figure. Training campus, $10 million, and that's it? Or are we gonna have more of a breakdown as far as the support building, some of the major items that are gonna be in the training tower, so to speak? I guess what I'm looking at is I've been involved with construction somewhat in my younger years. Believe it or not, I was young. And if somebody was gonna build a house, they wanted to know what exactly is this $50,000 house gonna give me? Is it gonna give me 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms? Is it gonna give me cheap appliance? You follow where I'm kind of going with that? Is that a possible thing to do to where, I guess what I'm saying, if we have $1 million widget and it's in that budget, then frankly, the board really shouldn't. We've already approved that budget. It's there. We can see that line item. And it might be an FYI, but it definitely doesn't need future approval for that widget, so to speak. Am I making sense, Danny?
Yeah, I think it's kind of what you're talking about, like, we're buying the fiberglass furnaces, right? And $800,000-ish, right? So that is within that 8 million right there. So we're not. I have to sign that. It's on later today, so I have to sign that. And but it's within that $8 million budget. But because it's $800,000, we're gonna ask for your permission for me to sign the contract. Does that make sense? So we won't have to come back to you. We'll bring a budget for $10 million for the training facility. There'll be some, we already got the drawings. We know all what that's gonna buy. We'll go out to bid, and I would assume that I'm just building that $10 million training facility because you've already approved the budget. Right? Unless there's a large change within there. Is that answering? I think we're on the same page. I think my answer to you is yes.
I think what, I kind of understand what I think where Tom's going. I think if you took that, just using around, let's just use that number of 10 million. I think what he was kind of asking is that you have the 10 million, that's A, and then under A, you have 1, 2, 3, training tower, 2 million, asphalt, 1 million. Breaking down just that 10 million, what are we going to be using? Blast for the furnace, 800,000. I think that's what he's looking at, is that we take that 10 million and we kind of put it down to where, 100,000 for carpet, and so we don't see like a $20,000 screwdriver, like our military government. I think that's what he's kind of getting at, is where each thing's kind of lined out as what the cost was for whatever out of that 10 million. So maybe people can see, okay, you got this 10 million. What did that 10 million get us so far this year? So we can show, this is the structure or whatever. I think that's what he's trying to get at, where it's, even broken out a little bit further. Whether that's more work for you guys or not, I don't know, but I think that's what he's trying to get at.
When we go to bid, then we'll have a budget, right? So we're getting the drawings, and so this money right now is for drawing, all the permitting. Yeah, there are some stuff like the fiberglass that we have to sign a contract for. But at the end of the day, we're getting all ready, and we'll go to bid, and contractors will bid on the project. That's when we'll have a budget. We don't really have a budget until that day, because right now it's educated guesses by professionals on how much they're going to cost. And we could probably break it out at a high level, but we won't have the detail that you're asking for So we actually unseal the bids and then the contractor then will have a breakdown for you
Absolutely.
of all drywall and carpet and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
And then
I
we'll
think
ask you to do the 10 million, there'll be breakdowns within the bid by the contractors, then we'll have an actual budget.
I think that might, I think that's probably like another extra step, because I mean, in the whole picture of things, we've already authorized you guys to build this. And so, I don't think we expect you to come to us for every time you're gonna spend this. That's within that $10 million budget, but then that's what it is, but.
But we'll be involved in approving the contracts.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see all of that.
We'll find a happy medium, I think, let's go to bid, we'll get a number, we'll have a budget, you'll approve that, and then I will probably bring you a little bit more than is required, just for information, and that's why we have this on there every single, to give you updates. And sometimes it'll be information only, and sometimes it'll be, but I need your thumbs up, because we got a change order, outside the budget, so. I think yes.
Yeah. I think he's just a step ahead of where we're at.
Yeah.
And we will get to that level. And we'll prove it. Yeah. Any further questions on that?
The last section of the report, just the ending cash, and it does show a couple addition of new funds, the capital fund being new. Shows the bond proceeds of $50 million that is restricted for bond eligible projects. The debt fund. And then PSOR is a custodian fund, so we are the lead agency and the fund is sitting in our bank account. So that just lists the ending fund of cash for all funds for 2023. That is it for the January financial.
Any questions? Thank you, Chris. 2022 bond update.
Good evening, everybody. So yesterday I sent all the commissioners just some perspective drawings of the training tower and the support building and a layout of the support building. Strictly for your information. Yes, we are making progress, and those are the pretty drawings that everyone wants to see anyway, not the detailed drawings that I get to look at all the time. We continue work on finalizing finishes. Some of the things to the point of I'm picking door handles and color of door handles just to get in the construction documents. That leads me into the next thing as we've started the process of compiling all of our specs, which are in the construction documents, which once we get an okay from the county for permitting, will be part of the bidding process, providing in that packet that goes out to those contractors that are going to bid. Just gives them some more direction and very specific directions on what we're looking for. This past week, I've done a lot more research on so in each building, the training support building 53, 57, we have a decontamination room. So there'll be an extractor, a dryer, a sink. So running into some issues there in the fact that every building we have is on a septic system. Extractors using an absorbent amount of water. So I'm narrowing down those choices and what's going to best be suited for each individual building. And then diesel exhaust systems are another one. We currently have a hose system in all of our stations. Do we carry that forward into the new building down here? Or do we look at options? And that's kind of what I'm doing along with the decontamination equipment. So for now, that's conclusion of the bond update, and we'll have a little bit more later under new business for the contract. Any questions for me?
Are you getting any kind of issues from the county? Or everything?
Well, it depends on what you qualify as an issue. So I have been able at this point to work through everything that's been a stumbling block. Let's just say that.
It's not insurmountable.
No, not at this point. We earlier in some of the earlier reports, I had issues with some domestic water supply and some fire flow things, and fire marshal's office has been able to, we've worked through fire flow Hopefully in the next week, I'll have the domestic water supply for the training campus situated with the city of Gig Harbor. But other than that, it's just more stumbling blocks of me talking to them, getting our architect and our engineers involved, and we work it out so far.
So the actual site itself, and the reason I'm asking is the very first meeting we had years and years ago. I think his name was Ty. He's fairly high, or was. And he wanted us to move the whole training tower. So that's the reason I asked the question, because I would hope they don't start nickel and diming.
No, at this point, we've had geotech already out. We've done, geotech has dug a couple of monitoring wells around the campus. We've marked corners of buildings and those things, so we're well down the road. And as I reported in the last meeting, we're hoping to submit training campus in May and probably station 53 and 7, which in essence, they're the same building, just at different locations. Hoping for late April to early May on that, those two projects as well.
When you say campus, you're talking support and the
Yep.
tower.
Yep, they are separated by permit. There's a permit for each one, but when I talk training campus, they'll both go in at the same time.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Next item of business is an executive session pursuant to RCW 42.30.1101G. To review the performance of a public employee. The executive session will last 15 minutes. We would call back to regular session at 5:41. Thank you.
JJ. When you go out, will you please put that on the door?
Yep.
Thank you.
Ing.
We have everybody back, so welcome back. Because of this time, I entertain a motion to, Tom, you want to make a motion to approve the?
I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the chair to sign the chief's evaluation.
Second. Roll call vote.
Commissioner NC,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Thank you. Any old business? I don't see any on the agenda. Brings new business, fire blast contract, I believe Chief Johnson did.
So commissioners, thank you again. What was in your packets is the current fire blast contract. As I inherited the project, we had natural gas fired props within the structure. As I researched that, natural gas isn't a great option. We went to propane, which is 98% of most training towers. It provides a little bit dirtier environment. It's easier for us to regulate, especially out here with the size of our gas mains. As I researched further and did some more research to find what was out there, Fire Blast came to kind of the top of the companies that provided those types of props for us. So within the tower, we're going to have a live fire is the whole intent of the tower. So the propane props provide that. The contract that is before you is part of a GSA contract. GSA regulates who can be on their list. They do the research. If we have a problem, GSA deals with fire blasts for us. All those safeguards are in place. I have sent it to legal and Eric has given the okay. The price includes the design, the consulting, the build and delivery of the product, the installation. And then at the end, once everything's in, it actually includes instruction on all of the props for up to 8 instructors in the training division. So the end result of all of those things is a contract for $877,731. And that is valid. Depending on where we are in the build contract, I was able to change some language so that we have a delivery at an appropriate date that we both agree to. So that was helpful. Knowing construction right now, there's all kinds of things that can get in our way. So that helped out a lot, but more of an information from you. It was included in our budget for the tower. But that's the background of the contract. If you have any questions for me.
Any problems?
So we have, there's one, in essence, non-burning prop. It's a gas meter that actually flows propane that we have to stop. It's not meant to light on fire. So there's that. There's a sofa, a stove, a car fire, and along with the car fire prop, it's mobile. We can take it anywhere on the drill ground. With it being mobile, we have a trailer that we're buying, which has the propane tank, all of the controls. And then within the garage in the daylight basement, it's like a corner desk or a workbench. And then on one of the upper floors outside the kitchen. So the way that we train, so in this building, it's a kitchen fire that spreads to the hallway, and then it will flash and roll down the hallway. So crews have to enter the hallway, push the fire, in essence, work on extinguishing it coming down a hallway with the fire above them, working their way around the corner and into a kitchen. So, and all the appropriate NFPA safeties are in place. If the room reaches 450 degrees, it goes into alarm. If it reaches 500 degrees and the crews aren't putting the fire out, the system reshuts itself and vents everything out of the building within a minute. So all the smoke, all the heat, everything is out. There's kill switches, controls that the instructors have. In essence, it's a server room on each floor that serves the burn props, that's protected. So it will be, dare I say, state of the art, but state of the art, and nothing or nobody around us has quite anything like this. And it will provide for the future training of all of our folks.
Any questions? We need to vote on this.
Motion. Move that we approve the contract with Fire Blast. That's out.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Ensy,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiltie,
Yes.
Chairman Urbina.
Yes. Thank you, Chief Johnson.
Thank you.
It's now time for open public comment. If any, please state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes. No one here present, anybody online?
Jake and Carl.
Let's see any hands raised. So move to go to the order. You go to the order. Seeing none, special interest upcoming events. What do you think? Seeing none, well, this meeting will be adjourned. Our next scheduled regular meeting will be Tuesday, March 28th at 5 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.